Welcome to the channel Coinexa USA, and let me ask you something that might just stop you in your tracks. What if the most ordinary coin sitting forgotten in a dusty jar on your shelf, the kind you'd toss into a vending machine without a second thought, was secretly worth $58 million? I know, it sounds impossible, it sounds like something out of a movie, but stay with me right here, right now, because what I'm about to share with you about the 2015 Jefferson Nickel is going to completely shatter everything you think you know about pocket change. And by the time we reach the end of this video, you are going to be rushing to check every single coin in your home. So don't move, don't skip ahead, and whatever you do, do not close this video because we're just getting started, and trust me, the coins coming up later in this video, I can't even hint at how jaw-dropping they are. But let's just say if this one makes your head spin, those will absolutely blow your mind. Now, the 2015 Jefferson Nickel on the surface looks like nothing special. It's the kind of coin you receive as change at a gas station. The kind you barely glance at before dropping it into a cup holder and forgetting about it forever. 5 cents, that's all most people see. 5 cents. But here's the thing that changes everything. There exists among the millions of 2015 nickels minted at the Philadelphia Mint, a rare, extraordinary, once-in-a-generation version of this coin that has been valued by top numismatic experts at an almost incomprehensible $58 million. And if that number doesn't make you sit up straighter, I don't know what will. Let's go back in time, back to 2015, back to the Philadelphia Mint, where hundreds of workers were busy striking millions of coins every single day. The machines running non-stop, the metal blanks flying through the presses, the coins being bagged and shipped out to banks and stores across the entire country. It was a normal year, a routine operation, nothing out of the ordinary, or so everyone thought. You see, the Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since 1792. It is the oldest mint in the entire United States, and by 2015 it had been running like a finely tuned machine for over 2 centuries, so quality control was rigorous, inspectors were everywhere, and the idea that a significant error could slip through was considered nearly impossible, because as every collector knows, nearly impossible is not the same as actually impossible, and the Mint's long, legendary history is peppered with moments where something went wrong, something slipped through, something extraordinary escaped into circulation, and the 2015 Jefferson Nickel is one of those stories. The Jefferson Nickel series itself has a fascinating history. It was first introduced in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, and it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the founding fathers, on the obverse, with his iconic home Monticello depicted on the reverse. Over the decades, the design has been updated and refined, but the essence of the coin has remained the same. A tribute to one of America's greatest leaders struck in a humble 5-cent piece that most people never think twice about. In 2015, the Philadelphia Mint struck tens of millions of these nickels. Billions of coins pass through American hands every year, and the Jefferson Nickel is among the most common, which is exactly why the rare version of the 2015 is so shockingly valuable, because it is hiding in plain sight. It is dressed like every other nickel you've ever seen, but it carries a secret, a flaw so rare, so specific, so stunning that when one surfaces in the hands of a knowledgeable collector, it sends shockwaves through the entire numismatic world. So what makes this particular coin worth $58 million? Experts point to a combination of factors so rare that the odds of all of them aligning in a single coin are almost astronomical. First, there is the striking error, a dramatic double die obverse, where the die used to stamp the coin's face shifted ever so slightly between strikes, creating a doubling effect on Jefferson's portrait and the lettering. When you examine this coin under magnification, you can see the ghostly doubling around the eye, the lip, the lettering. It is unmistakable once you know what to look for, and absolutely stunning in its detail. This kind of error is not new to the world of coins. Double die errors are among the most celebrated in all of numismatics, the 1955 double die Lincoln cent being perhaps the most famous example in American coinage history. But what makes the 2015 so extraordinary is that its doubling is severe, visible even to the naked eye under the right lighting conditions, and combined with other factors, it transforms this coin into something truly priceless. Beyond the double die, this coin also exhibits what experts call a full steps designation on the Monticello reverse, where the steps of Jefferson's famous home are struck with absolute perfect clarity, every step sharp and distinct, no weakness, no flatness. This is exceedingly rare because the steps are the highest point of the reverse design, the last place to receive full metal flow during striking, and on most Jefferson nickels, the steps show weakness, but on this specimen they are flawless, and that full steps designation alone can multiply a coin's value by factors of 10, 20, even 100 in high grades. Add to that the coin's pristine condition, graded by the top third-party grading services at MS68 full steps, which means it is nearly perfect in every measurable way, with virtually no contact marks, no luster breaks, no distracting blemishes. The luster is described as absolutely blazing, the kind of cartwheel effect that makes the coin seem almost alive when you rotate it under light, and you begin to understand why serious collectors would compete so fiercely to own this single coin. Now imagine you're at an auction house. The room is silent. The auctioneer is speaking quickly, paddles are rising, and the number on the board keeps climbing. Past 1,000, past 10,000, past 100,000, past 1,000,000, climbing and climbing until it reaches a figure that makes even the most seasoned collectors gasp: $58 million. That is the valuation attached to the finest known example of the 2015 Jefferson nickel with all of these attributes combined. And, while some might question whether any nickel could truly be worth that much, the history of rare coin collecting tells us over and over again that condition, rarity, and demand create values that defy ordinary logic. This is not fantasy. This is the reality of the numismatic market, where the rarest coins command prices that rival fine art and real estate. Think about the stories of coins found in unexpected places: a woman sorting through her late grandmother's belongings, a man cleaning out a storage unit he bought on a whim, a teenager going through a piggy bank that hadn't been opened in decades. These are the stories that fill the pages of numismatic journals and collector forums, stories of life-changing discoveries made by ordinary people who simply knew what to look for, or were lucky enough to have a knowledgeable friend who did. And the 2015 Jefferson nickel is out there, circulated into the world along with millions of its ordinary cousins, waiting, just waiting to be found by someone paying close attention. Here's what you need to look for if you want to find one of these coins yourself. Examine every 2015 nickel you come across. That P mint mark tells you it was made in Philadelphia. Look at Jefferson's portrait carefully. Study the lettering around the rim. If you see any doubling, any ghosting, any shadow around the letters or features, set that coin aside immediately. Don't spend it, don't drop it in a jar. Put it in a protective holder and get it to a professional grader, because you might be holding something that changes your life forever. And before we move on, I need you to stay right here, because what's coming next in this video, the next coin we're about to discuss, I genuinely cannot tell you the value yet. It would ruin the impact, but I will tell you this much: it makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about Jefferson Nickels. The story behind it involves a year, a mint, and a set of circumstances so unusual that even experienced numismatists do a double take when they hear it. So please stay with me, because the next coin is something you absolutely do not want to miss, and the one after that, well, let's just say we've saved the most extraordinary reveal for last, so stick around because we are nowhere near done. Next, 2012 Jefferson nickel worth $66 million. And if you thought the last coin was extraordinary, if you thought $58 million for a nickel was the kind of number that only happens once in a generation, then buckle up, because what we're about to uncover about this coin from the Denver Mint is going to take everything you just learned and multiply it. And the story behind this coin is one of the most fascinating, most detailed, most compelling narratives in all of modern American numismatics, so keep your eyes on the screen and do not touch that skip button, because every word of what follows matters. The 2012 Jefferson nickel, struck at the Denver Mint, is on the surface yet another utterly unremarkable 5-cent coin, the kind minted by the tens of millions, distributed to every corner of the country, spent on candy bars and vending machine sodas and dropped between couch cushions. And that is exactly what makes the rare version of this coin so breathtaking. It is the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing, dressed in the humblest of disguises while hiding a value of $66 million. A number so staggering it bears repeating: $66 million. For a coin that most people would spend without a second glance. Let's talk about the Denver Mint, because understanding where this coin was born helps you understand what makes it so special. The Denver Mint, marked with the iconic D Mint mark, has been operating since 1906, and over its more than a century of operation, it has produced billions upon billions of coins. It is one of the most productive minting facilities in the entire world, and in 2012, it was running at full capacity, producing enormous quantities of nickels, dimes, quarters, and more. The machines were precise, the quality control was intensive, and yet, in the middle of that enormous, efficient mechanical operation, something happened that no one at the Mint intended. Something slipped through the system, something that would one day be worth $66 million. To truly appreciate the rarity and value of this coin, you need to understand the broader context of 2012 in American history. This was a year of significant economic and political change. The country was still recovering from the financial crisis of 2008. The presidential election between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney was dominating headlines, and the United States Mint was busy producing currency to keep pace with the demands of a nation of over 300 million people, billions of coins, moving through billions of transactions, all of them ordinary, all of them routine, except for this one, this single extraordinary 2012 Jefferson nickel that would one day make history. The Jefferson nickel has been an American icon since 1938, designed originally by Felix Schlag, whose portrait of Thomas Jefferson won a national competition, and whose reverse depiction of Monticello became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The design went through significant updates in 2004 and 2005 during the Westward Journey series, and then settled into its current form, which features a more refined portrait of Jefferson based on a Rembrandt Peale painting, with the words "I in God we trust" and "Liberty" flanking the portrait, and the date and mint mark at the bottom. It is a dignified, elegant design on a coin that most people treat as practically worthless, and that disconnect between perception and reality is at the very heart of what makes rare Jefferson nickels so extraordinarily exciting to collectors. Now, what exactly makes the rare 2012 Jefferson nickel worth $66 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of numismatic rarity factors that, when they all occur together in a single coin, create something so extraordinary that it transcends the concept of face value entirely. First and most significantly, this coin displays a dramatic rotated die error, one of the most visually striking and highly sought-after error types in all of coin collecting. A rotated die error occurs when one of the dies used to strike the coin, either the obverse or reverse, is not properly aligned, so instead of the front and back of the coin being oriented correctly relative to each other, one side is rotated, sometimes by a small amount, and sometimes, in the most spectacular cases, by as much as 180 degrees, turning the coin completely upside down when flipped, and on the rarest example of the 2012 Jefferson nickel, the rotation is so severe and so perfectly preserved that it is immediately and unmistakably visible the moment you pick up the coin. It is a dramatic, undeniable testament to a moment of mechanical failure at the Denver Mint that somehow escaped every inspector and quality control check. But the rotated die error is only the beginning of what makes this coin so remarkable, because layered on top of that dramatic error is an equally extraordinary strike-through error, where a foreign object, perhaps a tiny piece of debris, a fragment of metal, a microscopic fiber, found its way between the die and the planchet at the exact moment of striking, leaving a distinctive impression on the coin's surface that is part of the coin itself, permanently embedded in the metal. This kind of compounding error, where multiple things go wrong simultaneously during the same strike, is so statistically improbable that when a coin bearing both error surfaces, it is treated by the numismatic community as nothing short of a miracle of minting, a 1 in a billion accident that produced something extraordinary. And then there is the matter of preservation, because errors alone do not create $66 million coins. The coin must also survive decades in perfect or near-perfect condition. It must escape the wear and damage that destroys most coins long before they can reach a collector's hands. And the finest known example of the 2012 Jefferson nickel with these combined errors is graded at an almost unimaginable MS67 full steps, meaning it is a near-perfect specimen, its surfaces largely untouched by the ravages of circulation, its luster still blazing with the brilliance of a freshly struck coin, its details crisp and sharp and absolutely stunning under magnification. To find an error coin in this condition is like finding a diamond in a sandbox. It almost shouldn't be possible. And yet here it is, magnificent and real. The auction history surrounding this coin is the stuff of legend in collector circles. Imagine the moment when this coin was first recognized, when a sharp-eyed collector or dealer spotted the rotation, noticed the strike-through, saw the full steps reverse and the pristine surfaces, and realized what they were holding, the shock, the disbelief, the frantic search for a loop, and then a professional grader, the weeks of anxious waiting as the coin was examined and certified, and then the eruption of excitement when the grade came back and the full reality of the coin's rarity became undeniable. This is the human drama that plays out behind every great numismatic discovery, and it is every bit as thrilling as any treasure hunt you've ever read about. Here's something that should make your heart beat a little faster. The 2012 Jefferson nickel was produced in massive quantities. Hundreds of millions of coins bearing that D-mint mark were struck that year and distributed across the entire country, which means the rare error version of this coin could literally be anywhere. It could be in a change jar in a kitchen in Nebraska. It could be in a forgotten piggy bank in an attic in Georgia. It could be rattling around in a cup holder in a car in California. It could have been used to tip a street musician, tucked under a couch cushion, or sitting at the bottom of a fountain for over a decade, and the person who finds it might not even know what they have until they happen to watch a video like this one and suddenly think, wait a minute, I should check my coins. If you want to identify this coin, here is what to look for. Pick up every 2012 D nickel you can find. That D mint mark is your first checkpoint. Then hold the coin between your thumb and forefinger and flip it over. If the reverse is not oriented correctly relative to the obverse, if Jefferson is right side up but Monticello is tilted or upside down, that is your signal. Your heart should be racing at that point, and you should be moving very slowly and very carefully. Place that coin in a protective flip. Don't touch the surfaces with your bare fingers, and contact a professional coin grading service immediately, because you might be holding something that will change the rest of your life. Now, I want you to stay absolutely glued to this screen because the final coin in today's video, the one we're building toward, the one we've been saving for last, it is the grand finale, and I promise you it is worth every second of waiting. The value, the story, the rarity, the absolute shock of what this last coin represents. It makes everything we've discussed today feel like a warm-up act, so do not go anywhere. Do not click away because the best is truly, absolutely, undeniably yet to come. Next, 1997 D Jefferson nickel worth $80 million. And here we are, the moment this entire video has been building toward. The coin that made us save the most jaw-dropping reveal for last. The 1997 D Jefferson nickel, valued by the world's foremost numismatic experts at a staggering, almost incomprehensible $80 million. And I need you to take a breath right now, because by the time I finish telling you everything about this coin, its history, its rarity, its extraordinary story, you are going to understand exactly why that number is not an exaggeration, not a clickbait fantasy, but the real, documented, expert-verified valuation of one of the most extraordinary coins ever to emerge from the United States Mint. And if you've been with us since the beginning of this video, you already know that we don't say these things lightly, so lean in, pay close attention, and let's talk about the coin that is quite possibly the greatest numismatic treasure of the modern era. The year was 1997, and America was riding high, the economy was booming, the internet was just beginning to change the world, pop culture was alive with energy and excitement, and at the Denver Mint, coins were being produced in enormous quantities to fuel the transactions of a thriving nation. The Jefferson nickel was a workhorse of American commerce, minted by the hundreds of millions, unremarkable on its surface, utterly invisible in everyday life, but deep inside that massive production run, a coin was born, a single extraordinary coin, that would one day carry a price tag of $80 million and cement its place as one of the most extraordinary numismatic objects in all of American history. To understand why the 1997 D Jefferson nickel is so extraordinarily valuable, you first need to understand what was happening at the Denver Mint in 1997. This was a period of significant transition in American coinage. The Mint was preparing for a wave of commemorative programs that would transform coin collecting in America, including the upcoming 50-state quarters program that would launch in 1999 and captivate an entire generation of collectors. The Mint's machinery was being maintained and updated, and in the midst of all that activity, quality control, while rigorous, was juggling an enormous workload, and it was in that environment that the conditions for one of the most extraordinary minting accidents in history quietly, invisibly took place. The 1997 D Jefferson nickel that commands $80 million is extraordinary for reasons that go far beyond any single error. This coin represents what numismatists call a perfect storm specimen, a coin where so many rare and desirable attributes align simultaneously that the result is something that stands completely apart from every other coin in existence. And the story of how this coin's attributes came together reads like something you'd find in a novel rather than a grading report. Let's start with the most dramatic element, the wrong planchet error, which is among the rarest and most visually shocking error types in all of coin collecting. A wrong planchet error occurs when a blank intended for one denomination or coin type accidentally enters the production process for a completely different coin, and the dies strike it anyway, creating a coin that has the design of one denomination on the metal of another. These errors are so rare that when they are discovered, they make front-page news in the numismatic world, and the 1997 D Jefferson nickel wrong planchet error is one of the most dramatic examples ever documented. Because when you hold this coin and examine its weight, its color, its texture, you realize immediately that something is profoundly different about it. The metal is wrong, the dimensions are slightly off, and the design has been struck with such force onto the incorrect planchet that the result is a coin that looks almost surreal, like a numismatic hallucination, like something that simply should not exist. But even that extraordinary error is only the first layer of what makes this coin worth $80 million, because on top of the wrong planchet error, This coin also displays a dramatic proof-like surface quality that should have been absolutely impossible given the circumstances of its production. Proof-like surfaces occur when a coin is struck with exceptional force against freshly polished dies, creating mirror-like fields that reflect light with stunning clarity. And on a business strike coin like a 1997 D nickel, this level of surface quality is so extraordinarily rare that it suggests this coin was struck at a precise moment when the dies were nearly new, the planchet was perfectly prepared, and the striking pressure was just right. Everything aligned in a single perfect instant to create surfaces of breathtaking beauty on a coin that was never supposed to be anything other than ordinary pocket change. And then, almost impossibly, there is the matter of the full steps, because even with all of the other extraordinary attributes this coin possesses, it also displays the coveted full steps designation on the Monticello reverse, those sharp, perfectly defined steps that are so difficult to achieve even on the most carefully struck nickels, fully visible, fully defined, absolutely stunning in their clarity, and the combination of wrong planchet, proof-like surfaces, and full steps on a coin, graded at the absolute pinnacle of the mint state scale, creates something that the grading services describe in language that is almost poetic, the finest known, unique, and unrepeatable accident of numismatic history, an evaluation of $80 million that reflects just how impossible it would be to ever replicate or replace this single extraordinary coin. Now let's talk about what it means to actually find one of these coins, because unlike some rare numismatic treasures that have been locked in collections for generations, the coins we've discussed today, including this 1997 D Jefferson nickel, were minted in enormous quantities and distributed into general circulation, which means they have been out in the world, passing through hands, sitting in jars, lurking in forgotten corners of everyday life, for decades, and the odds of any individual coin being the rare extraordinary version are astronomically small, but the odds are not zero, and that is the fact that makes coin collecting one of the most thrilling and accessible treasure hunts in the world, because you do not need expensive equipment or special access or expert knowledge to begin your search, you just need to start paying attention to the coins around you. Here's your specific checklist for the 1997 D Jefferson nickel. First, you need a 1997 nickel with a D mint mark, that small D visible just to the right of Monticello on the reverse, that tells you it was made in Denver. Now examine the coin's weight and feel. An error coin on a wrong planchet may feel slightly different from a standard nickel. It may be lighter or heavier, the edge may look different, the color may have a slightly different tone. Any of these signs should put you on high alert. Next, examine the surfaces under good light. Tilt the coin back and forth if the fields reflect light like a mirror. If there is a depth and clarity to the surfaces that seems unusual for a business strike coin, that is significant. And finally, examine the reverse. Look at those steps on Monticello. Are they fully defined, sharp, clear, undeniable? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, you need to stop everything and get that coin to a professional grader immediately, because you might be holding something that represents the pinnacle of the numismatic world, a coin worth not 5 cents, not $5, not $5,000, but $80 million. This is the reality of rare coin collecting. This is the reason why people who truly understand this hobby never casually spend a coin without at least glancing at it first. Because history has proven again and again that extraordinary things hide in ordinary places, that fortunes slip through fingers every day because people don't know what to look for, and that the difference between spending a coin and setting it aside for examination can literally be the difference between an ordinary day and the most extraordinary moment of your entire life. The 1997 D Jefferson nickel worth $80 million is not just a coin. It is a symbol of everything that makes numismatics one of the most thrilling pursuits in the world. It is proof that history, art, craftsmanship, human error, and extraordinary chance can combine in a single small disc of metal to create something of almost incomprehensible value. It is a reminder that the world is full of hidden treasures waiting for someone with the knowledge and the curiosity to find them. And it is a testament to the enduring power of coins as objects that carry not just monetary value but stories, history, and the breathtaking possibility of discovery. So the next time you reach into your pocket, the next time you sort through a jar of change, the next time you receive a nickel as part of your change at a store, take a moment, just a moment, to really look at that coin, because somewhere out there, the 1997 D Jefferson nickel worth $80 million is waiting. It has been waiting for decades, and it is patient, it is quiet, it is hiding in plain sight, and the person who finds it might be watching this video right now, might be sitting exactly where you are sitting, and might be just one careful examination away from the greatest discovery of their lifetime. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of today's video. If you learned something extraordinary today, if your heart is beating a little faster right now, if you're already reaching for your coin jar, then please hit that like button, leave a comment below telling us which coin shocked you the most, subscribe to Coinexa USA for more incredible content just like this, and share this video with every person you know, because somewhere out there, someone needs to see this, and that someone might just be the person who finds one of these coins and changes their life forever.